welcome to our virtual meeting about phonics at Phonics Primary School. So today we're going to be having a quick look at understanding the small steps to becoming a reader, know what phonemes are and how to pronounce them, know how phonemes help children to be able to read and write, and have ideas for how you can support your child at home. So what is phonics? Phonics is the hearing, identifying, blending and segmenting of phonemes, which is a single unit of sound in words. You might hear children say sometimes the sounds in words and sounding out. That's basically a phoneme. A phoneme is the sound within a word. So if you look at the words rain, look, turn, ran, splash, cake, all of those have phonemes in them. Rain has got a r, a, n, and altogether those three phonemes blend together to make the word rain. Look has got a l, uk. It's got three phonemes in it, l, uk, look, and blended together it makes the word look. Okay, and when children can learn to individually segment these words, that can help them to then be able to apply this into a sentence. So here they might look at this word and think, oh, I don't know what that word says, so they'll look at each phoneme in the word and they can see it's a r, e, d, Fred. Okay, they might then again hear t, uk, took. Fred took a, r, car, to, the. These two words here, to and the, are tricky words, ones that obviously you can't really sound out, you just have to know them. And then park, p, ark. Okay, and once they've gone through a sentence like that, segmenting the words, finding out, saying the phonemes, you can then encourage your child to go back to the beginning of the sentence and read it fluently. So then they'll know, so right, this was Fred took a car to the park. Okay, so understanding and recognising that the same phonemes can be presented by different graphemes, and the grapheme is just a written representation of the phoneme or the sound. Okay, so additionally that graphemes can be written in the same way and represent a different phoneme. Alright, so I'll just give you an example of that. So in the word down, this here, the O and the W makes an ow sound, but in the word show, the OW makes an O sound. And again, for these ones where the same phoneme can be represented by different graphemes, you can see here you've got three different A graphemes. Okay, you've got this one for A, which you'll hear in the word rain, and it's spelled with an A and an I. You've got this one AY. Okay, so if you think about play, A, that's that grapheme there, and this one is a split digraph it's called, and it's called a split digraph because as you can see there's a line there, and that just means that a letter sits in between those two letters. So if you think about the word make, you hear m, a, make. The A sound you can hear there has got the K sitting in the middle of it. Okay, so that's all we mean by a split digraph. Okay, so how do we teach phonics at parts? Phase 1, which is often in foundation stage, is word discrimination, rhyme, alliteration, and all blending and segmenting. So that's where there have been lots of games, lots of rhyming, cat, mat, alliteration, things that start with the same sound or phoneme. In phase 2, you've got single letter phonemes. So that is basically the letters of the alphabet. You know that A, the phoneme you can hear is an A. B, the phoneme you can hear is a B. And we start with something called SAT-PIN. So that's S-A-T-P-I-N. Okay, so SAT. They're the first phonemes that children will be shown. And the reason for that is there's just lots of different words you can make with those. If you did ABC, there's not a lot of words you can make. And then in phase 3, that's your introduction of digraphs. So the digraphs is when two letters make one sound. So again, like we just did for A, looking at A in rain and A in I, it's the same kind of thing. So this here, look, you can see a digraph is all of these two letters that make one sound. So these E and an E makes the E sound, and O and an A makes the O sound. In phase 3 at the end, we also go on to look at trigraphs, and trigraph just means three letters which make one sound. So you can see the ear. E-A-R makes the ear sound in here or in dear. And we talked about a bit earlier, split digraph just means a letter sits in between it. Okay, so then phase 4 is consonant clusters and polysyllabic words. Can't say that word. Polysyllabic words. So a consonant cluster is just when you can hear two consonants together. So if you think about the word crib, that's got a k, r, ib. And lots of children struggle with that, and they might end up writing like ib, kib. So what we try and do is say to them, like, if you think about the word rib, okay, r-ib, but if you wanted crib, it's a k rib, okay, so consonant clusters at the beginning. Same with something like snow. They find that quite difficult to hear that two consonants together. So you might think, well, what is no, and then what is snow? Okay, so that's what we do in phase 4. And then in phase 5, it's alternative spellings, graphemes and spelling choices. So then it's looking at all of those different graphemes that are represented here and which one we can start to use. So if you think about A, we know that this A sound often comes in the middle of words. This A sound here often comes at the end of words. So it's about making phonic choices at that point. Okay, so sounding out phonemes and blending. All phonemes must be pure. And what we mean by this is your mouth shouldn't really move as you say the sounds. So if you think about an so a U, if you were saying the U as a phoneme, you'd say Some children can overpronounce that sound and then it becomes like And if that actually makes more and they start writing other letters on whilst they're writing that actual grapheme. So you have to be really careful about making your sound really pure. So s, a, t, p, I. And when you do A, you say A, E. Quite short, snappy sounds. We don't overpronounce them. That's what we've been trying to teach and really focus on this time with the children. Blending for reading involves first sounding out the word. You see a written word such as dog in a book, you say the sound. So you'll break that word up and you'll say, right, let's have a look. What does it start with? D. Then you can see an O. Then you can see a G. And then you're able to blend them. So if you can see a D or G, you can blend that into the word dog. And this is a key skill of early reading. And what we say to children at school is look at the letters, say the phonemes, blend the phonemes together. And then segmenting words for writing works in a similar way, so it's a key phonics skill of writing. And to write a word, a child needs to be able to sound it out first, okay? And this sounding out process is called segmenting. So to segment the word pig, you'd split it into its 3 phonemes, p, I, g. And we say to the children at school, if you were writing pig, you need to say the word, tap the word, write the word. And that means to say pig, pig. Think about the different phonemes you can hear in that, and we tap it on our arm and we would say I, g, pig, okay? And then you're going to write that word. So what did it start with? P. You'll write that down. What could you hear next? P, I, and then what could you hear at the end? A g, pig, and you'd write the word down. Okay, so this is going to talk to you about the phonics test, which happens at the end of year 1.
Okay, so by the time the children get to the summer term in their year 1, what we get given is a phonics test by the government. It's a selection of 40 different words. Half of those words are real words, half of those words are nonsense words. And we know the difference because the real words do not have a monster next to them. And the nonsense words, we call them monster names or alien names, have got an alien or a monster next to them. All of the words in the test are phonetically decodable, so the children should be able to sound out all of those words. And what we do is make sure that by that point they have learned all of the different sounds they need to know, and they can then apply these in this. So if the children are coming home talking to you about nonsense words or monster names, this is what they are talking about. And we do a lot of practice of this in class, and you might get some sent home as homework for them to practice, and the children do really well with it. So this happens in June. So tricky words. Mrs. Jones touched upon this. Tricky words are the words that come up in the children's reading and writing that you can't phonetically decode. They can't really sound out and tap these words. They're just words they need to know. And we teach these in lots of different ways. We teach them a lot in their phonics, and we send these words home as spellings. The children just need to be able to look at these, and you quite often will find them in their book bags in a pack of cards, and you can flash them at the children to get to see if they can read them, and then you can hide them and see if they can spell those words, because they need to be able to do both of those things at the end of year 1, and then year 2 have got some other words that they need to be able to read and write as well. So, some ideas of ways you can support your children at home with these. These are some games that I found on the internet that I found work at home with my little girl, so I'm sharing them with you to see if they can help further our children as well. So this is stepping stones. You set out a selection of 6 cushions or other things the children can jump on, put put numbers 1 to 6 next to them, and then on the other side a selection of 6 of their tricky words. Roll a dice, or we have a spinner, or you can Google something similar. One of the numbers will come up and they jump to that cushion and see if they can read the word, and if they can, then they win it, and if they can't, they come back to the start, and eventually they will pick it up because they want to win all of those words. We also change it round to be us jumping on the cushions and then seeing if they can read and snatch the word before you get to it, which helps with that competition. But this does really help with getting the children to read the words. Toddler pong. So you put the words in a selection of cups or containers, and they throw a ball, and if it lands in, if they read it, they get to win that. If they don't, then it gets taken away and you have another go. Hoopla, so pop on the floor a selection of words, and then with a bracelet or a hoop or anything circular, get them to throw it, land on a word, and see if they can read that word, and again they can win it. It's all about competition. Kids love a competition. There's a whole host of other ideas on things you can do. This has been sent out as a letter. We're also going to put these slides onto our website so you can have a look at some of these other ideas. One that just worked really well is sticking your words up in different places around the house and then swapping the locations of those words. So as the child goes into their bedroom or goes to go into the kitchen, stuck on the door is one of their words, get them to stop and read it, just so they're seeing them in lots of different places. Another idea with poppets, which you can have a look at on the website. So general support with your children in reading at home. We send children home with phonic books. So the reading book that your child has sent home is linked to the phonic group that they are in. That means that the phonic book they're getting is definitely something they should be able to read, because it's all of the sounds, the phonemes that those children have learnt so far, and we know that they're able to access them in class, so they should be able to read them with you at home. If you're thinking these books are quite easy, that shows that they are really applying those sounds, and that's working really well. What we're doing is asking you to keep repetitively reading those books over the week, and we are aiming to change them hopefully twice a week. But we're looking for that fluency, so keep practicing them every day, and then we will change it. The books are getting changed when the people who read with your children know they've read them enough and they can access them. So if it's not being changed, it's probably because your child might not be showing signs that they have practiced that book at home. We've also this year started sending sharing books home. So each class has a box of 40 books in there. They get to choose one of those books, take it home, share it with you for the weekend. And then that book's brought back in on the Monday, and the children have a little conversation with their friends about what they enjoyed about it, what they liked about it, and hopefully then on the Friday when they take a new book home, it might encourage some of their friends to take the same book home because they enjoyed it, and they're sharing that love of reading and that conversation between them. So don't just read that book with your child, but talk about it. What did you enjoy? What was your favourite part? Just to really get them having that conversation. The idea of the sharing books is it's probably not going to be a book that your child can read, but what we want you to do is you read it to them, so they're hearing a different person read. They're hearing that expression in your voice and just another voice, which is lovely for them. Any further support that you might need, we're obviously always available to have any questions asked or for you to have any further support. Any of the following videos are available on the website, so the correct pronunciations of phonemes, the different actions that we do, because all of our phonemes have an action. For instance, A for rain, we do rainy fingers, or we do E for what can you see. All of those are on the website. There's also example reading sessions, so how we read with children in school, you can see videos of that. Yeah. Okay, thank you for watching.